All right. DJ is a very different character than Zangief. So let's see how much of the same problems that we just went over apply to this matchup as well. Because a lot of what you were getting hit by and a lot of what you weren't doing that you should have been doing was matchup stuff that I don't know why you would necessarily know. So let's see. We're going to see how this goes and see if you're getting, if it's the same problems or if you're getting hit by new stuff and it was mostly just matchup. Matchup check. Nice. Okay. Again, don't do that. But when you do, make sure it works. Okay. I do this too. But you've done this a lot. You will react to something with parry when you are very close to full screen. That is a waste of meter. I do it too because it's a twitch reaction. I get scared and I just boop it. But the best thing that you can do is not do that, because if he does drive rush, DJ might be able to genuinely get here in time and throw you. And then you're down more meter. And if he does do a strike, if he does drive rush into slide or something, drive rush into sweep or whatever, parry is good because you don't lose meter. But if he doesn't do it, then you lose meter. You lose the same amount that you lose or same amount or more than you would lose if you just blocked it. So trying to get that twitch reaction out of your system, it would be good. I need to do the same thing. I don't even have anything to say about that. That wasn't you. What the fuck was this situation? Fireball from here. He is drive rushing from full screen. He still ends up on the other side of you. What the fuck is this character? DJ is evil, man. What the hell? Nice. Nope. So, matchup knowledge. Let's check. That was definitely heavy. So let's take a peek at DJ. Heavy punch, machine gun blow is minus 19 on block. So, not only is DI not necessarily worth it because you get a better punish anyways, but from this distance, you can punish this with almost anything you want. Any heavy besides crouch heavy punch will hit here. You can do heavy kick, you can do heavy punch, you can do whatever. This is a matchup thing. There's no reason for you to have known that this was minus 19. I didn't know that. Actually, all of them are minus 19 on block. So regardless, you can do that. But DI, not the right choice. Because again, if you're not sure how minus that is, if you're not sure how much advantage you have, you don't know whether he can DI you back or not. And if he DIs you back, that is a waste of a lot of drive and a lot of health. That was just unfortunate. It was good spacing. Nice parry. Okay. So like we were talking about before, like Hero said, keeping track of your resources and routing accordingly. That was a great perfect parry. Punish counter medium punch is +8 on hit, which gives you crouch heavy punch. What you could have done is this punish counter medium punch into crouch heavy punch into either heavy lava hands or heavy tatsu, gotten the corner carry, gotten Oki. But instead, you did drive rush, burned yourself out, dropped a combo, and did you see how little damage you did? Because of the perfect parry scaling. Tatsu for corner would be your call. I agree. I would say punish counter medium into crouch heavy punch into heavy tatsu, but heavy lava hands is not bad if that's a default. You still get good Oki off of it. I would just say that tatsu would be better because it sends you further. I don't know if heavy or medium is better, but regardless, something. The problem with using your resources here is that you burned yourself out for barely any damage. That is how much damage that whole combo did. That was not worth burning out. That was not worth using drive on. Usually, if you get a perfect parry, using drive in the punish is not worth it because the scaling is so bad that the damage you get is not worth the resources almost no matter what. The only time it's worth the resources is if you can root into level 3 and guarantee a kill, which obviously on round 1 you could not do. So that's another thing to keep in mind, of like the situational awareness of, I got a perfect parry, which means this is going to do a lot less damage, which means I shouldn't use drive meter, which means I'm going to root like this. You know, that's, again, higher level, not something I expect you to do right now, but something to keep in mind to think about as you get better and as you progress as a player. That was an unfortunate drop. And now you're burnt out in the corner. He does a ton of damage. He gets Oki. He fucks it up. No punish, but that's okay. Not 100% your fault because that's deceptively not as laggy as you'd think. Also, DJ is an ape character. He's a monkey character. He just does shit. Nice. 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 If you confirm that medium punch, that crouch medium punch, could have gotten medium Tatsu. Good amount of corner carry, good Oki. Nice fireball, but unfortunately DJ's is better. Nice. So, what I was talking about before, matchup knowledge and understanding what the opponent's characters can do and what they want to do. Fireball wars against DJ are usually not worth it. His EX fireball is better than yours. His heavy fireball is better than yours. It is not worth it. He will win that exchange, or he will keep it even and then drive rush in and then sweep you from half screen. It is again a character knowledge, a matchup knowledge thing. But that is an important thing to think about, even without knowing the specific, like, I don't know how fucking minus his drive rush crouch medium kick sweep is. You know, that I'm not asking you to learn that yet, but you know what the character's moves are, and think about how characters like to use them, and then appropriate what they are trying to make you not do by using their tools into what you should be trying to do. Akuma is a very good all-arounder character. He has a lot of options. So being able to be flexible with your playstyle based on who you're playing against to some degree is a very good skill to have. What did you press there? See, like that parrying the fireballs from there, going for the air fireball afterwards to try to get back in, that is a good situation. I would say that was good. What you didn't do and what you should have done, which I don't blame you for not doing because you don't play against DJ a lot, so why would you have thought that this was the right thing to do, is from there you should have gone in. Against a DJ, you do not want to let him have this kind of space because he will fireball and he will drive rush, and you don't want to let him do either of those things. But that's not your fault for not knowing that. And then he gets this. You went for a low forward. Now, double dash forward. Move back a little bit. You pressed it after he had already moved. That happens to me a lot, where I will kind of delay my reaction by accident and push where they were instead of where they are or where they are going to be. I get hit for that a lot. That is a tough thing to get out of your system because it is a Twitch reaction that doesn't happen on a Twitch reactions timer. It's weird and I don't know why it happens, but it happens to me too. But if you can try to be more conscientious of it, if you had pressed this when he first did it, like, hold on, if he bop, bop, dash, dash, if you had pressed low forward right now, you would have caught him. He started backing up. You could have done that, caught him, and then started your turn back. Again, you would have had to confirm it, but that would have been an option. But because you waited, saw him start moving forward, and immediately pressed it, he's able to hit his funny button and punish counter you instead. Nice jump. Whiffs on crouching. Not as good of a neutral tool as you think. It is very big, but people tend to crouch more often than they stand. So most often it is not worth just swinging it. And he could have and should have just killed you off that, but he didn't, so what do you do? Nice. Air fireball. Yep. And again, I will say, so kind of what I was talking about before. He burns himself out during this situation after this. Hold on. I wanna see how this happens again. So EX, drive rush in, all of this. DI doesn't work. Drive rush is there, doesn't get the kill. Now, from here, from this situation, same thing as what we were talking about before, right? Just in the opposite direction. Before, it was against Zangief. You were burned out. You know that he wants to keep coming after you because he wants to pressure you while you're burnt out. This DJ is now burnt out and close enough to the corner. He does not want to be here anymore. He wants to kill you or he wants to get away from you. He goes for the kill you option. You do a good parry here. And that was a great block. That was a good sweep. Now that you got your Oki, stay in there. You're pressing. You're making him think. Keeping the pressure on. I understand that forward heavy didn't end up working, but I get why you did it. This exact situation right here. All of this, he's going to start jumping. He doesn't want to get chipped. He doesn't want to get caught. He doesn't want to get smacked. He wants to kill you before he has to worry about being in burnout. Paying attention to his habits, how much he's pressing, means that you can get away with either watching for a jump and anti-airing him or waiting for him to press something dumb and punishing him for it. It's hard because DJ does not have a lot of stuff that's easy to punish. But without Drive Rush and without EX Fireball, it is not as easy for him to bully you as it is normally. So him being burnt out is your opportunity to play a little bit riskier. But with how little health you have, I completely understand being cautious as well. Because he could just catch you with something and it would, you just pop. This matchup, instead of air fireball over DJ's fireball, he tried demon flip and a heavy kick follow-up. If they don't fireball, you can just empty demon flip, and if they do, you punish. Oh, that's smart. Yeah, there you go. So specific matchup tech. If you know they're going to fireball, go for heavy demon flip, and then just react based on what they do. That makes sense. Good thinking. And then you jumped on the crouching DJ, charge anti-air. Just an unfortunate choice. Nice. Again, jumping at the crouching charge character. Oh. That could have been significantly cheekier if he had actually done that. So, right here. Skaboosh. That wake up parry was very concerning. I understand why you did it. I probably would have done the same thing. But waking up with parry, if you're not sure what's going on, is not usually worth it. Because you will take... There's a good chance you'll take more drive damage and more damage than you would if you just blocked. Alright, that was a really good read. You definitely could have gotten a better punish here. Also, jab, crouch, medium punch is not a thing. If you... And I'm pretty sure you know that. That fireball being a punish counter meant that that jab was going to work. Which means you should have, at worst, routed that jab into something, a knockdown or damage or something like that. All right. Nice. Again, pressing, so yes, the doggy. Right here is very much a DJ situation. Again, you pressed low forward here. And you got absolutely fucking smoked for it. It probably should have hit. But because he did this, lifted up his foot, ka-chow. Reset. That's just DJ. That's just charge stuff. DJ stuff. So you're doing what I do, which is pressing buttons on defense. I'm trying to do that less because it gets me killed a lot. Even something as small as a jab, if you do it in a timing that you think is going to interrupt them doing something, it's probably going to get you counter hit. It's not worth doing. Try to keep your hands to yourself when you're blocking. Unless you expect them to shimmy, in which case you go for an anti-shimmy option, or you expect them to throw, in which case you try to tech. But more often than not, pressing buttons on defense gets you hit, and getting hit gets you killed. That is not what you want. Something I'm struggling with too. Nice parry. That's fair. Nice fireballs. I'm going to assume that that wasn't on purpose. I'm going to assume that was you moving a little bit too quickly back and forth and trying to go for a fireball. Terrible punish by him. All right, he's being kind of a dick, actually. We've already talked about that. Don't do that. Nice. Yep. Don't do this. Unfortunate that he did that. He's going to burn you out. Yep, I respect that. Okay. This is exactly why you need to practice hit confirming. That missed. That hit, counter hit. You might, I don't know Akuma's combos, especially now when he's burnt out. I don't know if you could have killed here. There's a chance you could have killed here if you hadn't gone for that. Yeah. Unfortunately, unless you throw out level 1 of your own before he does his fireball in a read, that's kind of checkmate right there. So I want to break this down kind of piece by piece because there are a lot of things happening here that we talked about. So that pushed you far enough away you definitely weren't going to punish, but throwing that out left you, oh, probably +3. So that left you +3. This got to confirm because you could have done something off of that. This got to confirm, could have killed him off this, guaranteed. I agree with Pinko, 100% could have. Even like this, light Tatsu, level 1 would have killed. Bless you. Okay. This is checkmate, unless you jump. But you would have had to have reacted to this and jumped, which is easier said than done. Because right here, I'm going to be honest. After this, fireball is not your best move. Because there are a few things that can happen here. He can either wake up and block it or parry it, in which case nothing changes. He can wake up and do, if it's not truly meaty, he can wake up and do an EX to beat it, in which case you'll either take chip or get hit and die. Or he can get hit by it by doing something stupid, in which case you win. 2 out of those 3 situations are significantly less in your favor than is worth going for, right? Then makes that worth going for. Kind of got to go for an air option with a demon flip or regular jump. Right. So right here, you start charging the fireball. I would have gone in. Say, I'm going to die in this situation in neutral. I would rather go in and see if I can get something off this. So like for me, if I'm playing Akuma here, I am going to do whatever version of Oki I can off of this, and I'm going to immediately block. I'm going to immediately down back on his wake up. Because I'm going to assume that he's going to go for something to try to either chip me, which I can assume he can't chip me just raw, or he's going to go for a reversal to try to kill me because now he's worried about dying. All of a sudden, he's very scared about getting hit by something. If you maintain pressure, you're putting the pressure on him mentally to make you stop, whereas this is not nearly as scary. Do that. You charged it up too much. If you did that, just let it go and made it actually meaty, that would have even been better. Charging it up means that it loses to EX or heavy fireball. There's a lot of you trying to get better than you're not knowing it. Yeah. No, that's the thing, is this game is complex. Fighting games are complex. The way that you have to think about these situations is a lot more complicated than you would think just looking in from the outside without knowing what's going on. And that's part of the reason why I want to go over all of this with you, is because I want to put these ideas in your head, not because I expect you to remember them all right now, but you can reference them and they'll hopefully stick around so that when it does happen in the future and you're ready to utilize them, you'll go, oh, that's right. I remember I talked with KO about this. This is something that I should be doing. And then you can do it and then it'll help you win. You know, that kind of thing. I don't expect you to implement all of this into your gameplay immediately. It's not that easy. It's more of a to get the ideas in your head so they're there, so when the time comes you can do it. So, okay. I'm going to kind of reset talking about this. So you get this lava hands. That's a good knockdown. I go in 100% of the time here, personally, because in my head, he is now more worried about dying than I am. If you have the advantage on your knockdown, regardless of the fact that you're burned out, he is more likely to die than you are. But by staying back here, charging up a fireball, he has time to pay attention to what you're doing and react, which he does correctly. You're able to block it, but now you are in chip range of something killing you. So that was, unfortunately, the worst option you could have picked in this situation, besides like wasting your super. And that's not your fault. I understand why you made that choice, and I don't even think it would have been a bad choice if this situation was a tiny bit different. If he had burned himself out using that EX fireball, that would have been great. Because now you've already shown at this point he's YOLO level 1. Also true. Also totally an option. Just say, fuck it. He's going to do something. I'm going to fireball. I'm going to level 1. I'm going to shoot my railgun at him. It's either going to work or I'm going to lose anyway, so it doesn't matter. You could also do that. That is true. But yeah, the unfortunate truth is that that was the worst case scenario for you right there. He does this. There's no way for you out of it at this point unless you had already jumped. So you either get chipped or you just get hit and die. Not a lot you can do there. But it all comes down to setting up that situation ahead of time. If you hadn't gotten burned out, which wasn't your fault, he did burn you out. You didn't burn yourself out. But if you had played aggressive, he wouldn't have been able to chip you on wake up enough to kill you, so you could have gotten away with playing it safe, or assuming that he thought you were going to play it safe and being aggressive. That's part of the mind game, right? That's the guessing game of Street Fighter. Nice parries. Nice interrupt too. Damn, that was great. Okay, DJ knee is always plus. So, knee, that knee, this is always plus. It is not your turn. You do not get to press buttons. Do not press a button after he does this, or else this happens. Every time. Okay, I'm actually not going to say anything about that because that's kind of fair enough. My man is just frogging all over the place. So, okay. That right there, actually, genuinely, that was a great piece of info. This whole situation was good information, because as soon as he got burned out and wasn't about to die, he started playing like a fucking crazy person. He was jumping all over the place. He was pressuring you in ridiculous ways that don't make sense. As soon as he got some space, he threw fireballs, and then as soon as you got in, he just started pressing shit. He's jumping, he's jumping, he's jumping, he's jumping. When you see somebody playing like that, it is very easy to get overwhelmed and not know what to do. Generally speaking, if somebody is playing like this, start moving forward and then stop and get ready to anti-air, because they are going to jump and they're going to do this. DJ's knee is hard to anti-air. It is not easy. It is very awkward. But if you know he's going to do it, you can anti-air it. So when you see him jumping around and acting like a crazy person when he's burnt out, that's how he's going to be, and he's going to keep doing it. So that's a like in the moment adaptation of, I know he's going to be a crackhead right now. I need to be ready to just smack him for being a crackhead. Unfortunately, he just crackheaded better. Wake up parry, scary. That is very minus. Missed the punish. Nice block. I'm surprised that didn't punish. I think he did it late. Bad DI. He's just jumping all over the place. He's doing that's the buff, baby. He's using the buff. Nice. 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 Okay, he's burnt out. Nice. What do you do? Should have gone in. Because again, you're going to lose the fireball war, and he's playing like such a crackhead that keeping your pressure on him, I can almost guarantee you first time you go for Oki, he's going to level 1 on wake up. Nice. There it is. That's what I'm talking about. Trades are worth it for you right now. You have the health lead by a lot, and he's burnt out. Nice. Kill him for that. That's a spot to drive rush. Dropped his punish, but there you go. Yep. Don't DI. Yep, punish, you're dead. Alright, so this match, there was not a lot different, I would say. Spots that you have the urge to press stand heavy kick, it's probably smarter to press forward heavy punch instead, and neutral specifically. That is also fair. Yeah, stand heavy kick is a nice, long-reaching lie. It is designed to bait you into using it because it wants you to think that it's worth it, but it's not. If they crouch, which they probably will, it will whiff. You will be minus 13 and you will get your ass blasted. It is not as good of a button as it looks like it is, simply because of that. Forward heavy punch, crouch medium kick, crouch medium punch. Forward medium kick. Those are your pokes. Heavy kick should only be used as a combo tool, realistically. And even then, it's not great for that because it scales, because it's 2 hits. So yeah, generally speaking, Inferno, a lot of that was... almost all of those rounds were winnable for you. The only reason why you didn't win those rounds were either you just genuinely got outplayed, which happens sometimes. Happens to everybody. Or you got matchup checked, which is, I'm going to say it's your fault because you don't know, but it's not your fault for not knowing, if that makes sense. Like, that's something you haven't learned yet, you haven't spent time on yet, so it's not your fault for not knowing it, but it is your responsibility to learn it in the future. Or because of decisions that you made that ended up not working out in your favor, that probably... I'm not going to say you made bad choices because I don't think that's true necessarily. I don't think it's inherently true. Taking stock of situations and choosing options that make you most likely to win is the point of the game. But it's a skill that comes with time and experience, and it's hard to just do. And it's hard to kind of learn, too. Like, it's something you can't, like, sit down and learn how to do that. You have to understand, like, learn how to understand the game and kind of figure out how it feels in those situations. And then through your experience, learn what works and what doesn't work, and then apply it in the future. It's not something you can, like, sit down and grind, you know. It's something you kind of just adapt, you develop over time. But you can help yourself streamline that development by trying to think about it more actively. But yeah, they were all good games, and they were all good sets, and every round was a good round. It's just a couple of things that ended up kind of taking you off. You know, a couple small things here and there that ended up compounding to lose you rounds and lose you games and whatever. So the homework that I put in the Discord, I think, is the most kind of like general... what I would recommend you do kind of situation. I don't expect you to just like sit down and learn everything. You know, it's just things for you to focus on in a row, not all at once, if that makes sense.